Good evening, welcome here. Thank you for joining us for another inner hour tonight. So I invite you to take a moment to just quietly bring your attention present and let go of the things in you or around you that are disturbing. Just come to a place of greater rest and quiet within you. Alrighty, so I'm going to just hold this candle up here for a moment. It's just a plain old taper candle, and I'm not sure. It's interesting. I don't know how it looks on your end, but on my monitor, the candle all looks very blurred. It's not a distinct. It's very distinct looking at it with the eye, but the camera, because of its radiance, it kind of makes it a kind of a almost looks like an AI image or something. It's kind of blurry. I don't know how it is looking at it from there. Maybe it looks like a normal candle, but I just found that interesting that from about on my monitor, from about here up, it's just a radiant white, but it's not distinct. It doesn't look like a flame. It looks, I don't know what it looks like, but it looks just like a radiance, a white radiance in the kind of a shape of a flame. Much, much broader in the middle than the flame actually is, looking at it. Maybe it doesn't look any different on your end, but that was so striking to me when I caught it in the monitor. I thought I'd point it out. So tonight, I want to talk about something in the Bible that's usually referred to as secret or secrets. And the word most often used in that is sad. And it literally means hidden. It can also mean secret. And kind of in our culture, the idea of secrets is often is seen in a negative light. There's a connotation to it of deep, dark secrets, of don't tell, of things that, you know, people are trying to hide. That a secret is something people are trying to hide. And obviously it can be that. But there's a more ancient understanding of secret as well. And so we'll talk about that a little bit tonight. And secrets used in many, many different ways in the Bible. So I picked out a few of them to show you tonight. And in most of these cases, it would work well to translate it as hidden, as opposed to what we think of as somebody keeping a secret because it would be embarrassing, or because it's criminal, or because they would get in trouble, or anything along those lines. So as far as that aspect of it, of hiding something bad that you don't want revealed, here's something from Psalm 44:21, and it says, "You think God will not find this out? He knows the secrets of the heart." So there we have it kind of used in this context of somebody that doesn't want to reveal something, but that there isn't anything. The idea here being that there isn't anything that really is hidden from God, from the divine. or for that matter, from your own self, you can't really, you can repress things and you can certainly hide them from others, but you can't not know something that you know about yourself. So here's a couple more. This is Psalm 50. Many of these are Psalms, actually, I just noticed. Anyway, Psalm 51:6, which I really like. It's the one that begins, "Create in me a clean heart, O Lord," that one. Psalm 51:6 is David speaking to God, and it says, "Behold, you," referring to God in this case, "you desire truth in my innermost being." Whether we call that soul or the core of us or the heart of us or whatever language we want to use to describe that. You desire truth in my innermost being. And in secret, you make wisdom known to me. So there's a couple of interesting things here to me in this, that it's good to be honest with one another, but the thing spiritually that's really crucial is that there is truth in our inner core. And that truth does not just mean being honest with yourself about your strengths and weaknesses, about what you've done, about your behaviors, about your life, about your choices. Not only being honest about that, but it also means truth, that truth dwells, not just being honest about things you've said or done, but the truth itself with the capital T in a cosmic big sense of the word. That truth itself dwells in our inner core, however we understand that. And that in secret, you make wisdom known to me. God makes wisdom known to us in secret. So my understanding of that is, in one level of that, is that God often reveals things to us that we don't fully grasp, that they're still somewhat hidden from our full conscious awareness of it. And so it's hidden from us in that sense, or secret. And in the other sense, that God reveals that to us privately, intimately, not something that's done in public or in large groups, but it's done very personally, very in a fashion that's just between you and God. That there are many things that are revealed that way, and that much of God's wisdom and our understanding of that wisdom comes from those sort of inner awakenings or inner revelations or inner insights that don't directly come from our study or from something someone has taught us or even from life experience, but come kind of, we don't know where from. And suddenly we have this knowing of something that we didn't before. So, alrighty. So this one's kind of interesting as well, I think. A slightly different take on it. This is from Psalm 31:20. And again, this is the you here refers to God or the divine. And he's talking about the righteous, the ones who love God, the ones who are faithful to the covenant, that sort of thing, those who are considered righteous, not the evildoers, as the Bible often calls them, but the ones who try to follow God. And so this says, you hide them in the secret place of your presence from the conspiracies of mankind. That's an interesting one. I don't know how much you look at things like news, but if you look at much of it, and depending on some of the sources, especially if you get into some of the fringe sources or some of the far left or far right sources, um, everybody's accusing everybody else of conspiracies, that they're lying and misrepresenting things. They have all these secret things going on, bad things going on behind the scenes that they don't want you to know about, and they're kind of always misdirecting you. So if you talk to somebody or watch somebody on the left, the right's doing that. If you talk to somebody on the right, it's the left that's doing that. And then there are just conspiracy theories about everything that abounds. From the JFK assassination to aliens to Area 51 to the government, who is really running the government. All those endless conspiracy things. So interestingly enough, while it's really easy for many people to get caught up in a lot of that and be disturbed by it, this is thousands of years ago, like 3,000, roughly 3,000 years ago. You hide them, meaning your righteous ones, in the secret place of your presence from all the conspiracies of mankind. So one of the things that I find comforting in that is that we can take comfort in that presence within us, that hidden presence within us, or that secret place, the temple of the Most High in us, or the temple of the soul. Or we have all different metaphors and language to describe this innermost essence. But in that place, when our consciousness is focusing its attention there, we're spared from all of this turmoil that mankind is creating and was still creating 3,000 years ago. So in case you think any of that's new. Okay, so that's a kind of another aspect of the secret, is it's a sheltered place. A secret place meaning that it is hidden, but it's also a protected, sheltered place. Alrighty. And then this one is one that's kind of interesting to me. There's a lot of discussion about this in various religious circles. It's Psalm 25:14, and just this one verse of it. There's quite a bit before and after it, but just this one verse of it is commonly, and it's the translation of this varies. If you read the New International Version of the Bible versus the King James, versus the New American Standard, versus the Jerusalem Bible, versus the New Living Bible, there's all these different translations. Some are really excellent translations from the original languages. Some are really horrible, terrible translations from the original language. But many of the more common ones, like the New International Version, New American Standard, some of those, will commonly translate this verse like this: "The secret of the Lord is for those who fear him, and he will make known to them his covenant." So there are multiple variations on that. The Hebrew words are Sojed Hevavhe, Lirev Ubrito Lahodiam. Forgive my horrific Hebrew pronunciation. But so I'll come back to that literal in just a moment. One of the things that I have said many times, because non-Hebrew speakers don't know it, so many places in the fear of God is something that's difficult for many of us in the more mystically oriented traditions, as opposed to very fundamentalist ones with a fundamentalist theology. It's very difficult for many of us to embrace the notion that we should fear God, and that fear of God is a desirable thing, which it appears to be in the Bible, because it talks about the fear of God being the beginning of wisdom. It has the fear of God phrase used a lot. And there are different words for fear in Hebrew. One of them is yireh, and in its variations in different forms. And it can be translated fear. That's the one that's very frequently used in fear of God. The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom, where this verse I'm about to read you the one I just read you rather, the secret of the Lord is for those who fear him. So there we go again. Um, another legitimate and common meaning of that word, and in all its variant forms, is awe, or sometimes even translated as reverence. To be in awe of someone, to be in awe of the vastness of the starry night sky. That word, would fit there. And you're not afraid of it in that sense. If you have deep reverence and very high esteem, that's another way that that word can be used. So we could legitimately translate those things as the secret of the Lord are for those who revere him or who are in awe of him, which for me sits much better. You know, whatever the original author intended, for me that's a much more approachable understanding of it for me. And it's not that I never have feared God, actually, because to be honest, I have. There's no bounds to that power, and we're not in control of that power. So I've definitely been in situations in my life where I was in a space that was scary to me. So I understand actual fear of God. Or if you want, you can substitute life, fear of life. I understand that. That's also something that happens to us if we aren't truthful with ourselves. But on this kind of a path that many of us follow, our more common experience, I believe, is this awakening to awe and wonder and reverence for this divine, boundless, pure, loving spirit of love that we don't know what to call and we can't name it and we can't fully hold it. And so we call it this little word God, meaning something much, much, much bigger. So, and the covenant again refers to the covenant that in the Bible, in what the Christians call the Old Testament, Jews call the Bible, the Jewish Bible, or the Torah, or the complete thing, the Tanakh. Anyway, that the covenant was between the Creator and Israel, and there were certain things Israel was to do to maintain their end of the covenant. The covenant was a contract. Like if you and I entered into, I agree to pay you this amount of money, I agree to do these things for you to paint my house. You agree to paint the house the color I want, the way I want, when I want, to the standard I want. You agree to do all that. I agree to pay you X number of dollars to do it, maybe this much at the beginning and this much when it's done. Maybe I agree to also feed you and house you while you're doing it. Maybe I agree just to feed you while you're doing it. Maybe I only agree to pay you. We have these agreements, and all that agreement is worked out. That becomes a contract. That's a covenant. And the sacred covenants were taken very, very seriously in ancient Israel. And there were very severe consequences if you broke them. So there's a covenant between this is what God will do for the people, and this is what the people are due to do, to live in God's way. And so the teachings, that's what the word Torah means, teachings or understanding. Teachings or instructions. That once we understand the teachings that are given spiritually to us, we're to live those to the best of our ability, to stay in harmony with God, to be in that flow, to be open to that presence. And those teachings are for that purpose. So that's the covenant that's being referred to here. The set of teachings that have been given and that we've agreed to adhere to in return for being able to experience the divine, for being able to be open to it, for being able to be conscious of its movement in us and through us. That we have a much harder time relating to feeling and being conscious of if we don't live in a certain way that these teachings prescribe. So I'm going to just go word for word here for a moment because you can translate this differently too, and I think it's kind of interesting. I mean, I find it interesting. So Sad means hidden. That's the first word. Yod He Vav He are just 4 Hebrew consonants. That's what's called the unspoken name in the Jewish tradition. That which is beyond comprehension, beyond concept, beyond time and space. God in the big sense. Excuse me. The third word is lirev, which means to the awe, the fear, the reverence for. Then the next word is is just a conjunction. And then brito means his covenant. Brit is the covenant. Brito is his covenant. So, and his covenant. Le hodiam. Le is means two or four. And hodiam basically means he will, or it will be revealed, or it will be shown, or he will show, or he will reveal. So basically you have the secret or the hidden. There's no preposition there, but sometimes it's implied in Hebrew. So you could say the secrets of God, like it's translated, but you could also say the secret Lord. You could also do that. And then so I'm going to give you different translations. The secret of the Lord, that's the first part. And then I'm going to use revere instead of fear. I think that's legitimate. With the la in front of it means to revere. And then u means and then brito means his covenant, and then hodiam is to reveal. So while it's most commonly translated as the secrets of the Lord are for those, that's not actually there in Hebrew, it's implied, is for those who revere him, and he will make known his covenant to them. The to them is not actually there either, that's also implied. So I'm going to translate it a little differently. And I'm going to translate it, the secret of the Lord to revere and to reveal his covenant. What if that's our job description? To revere and honor the secrets of the Lord, the secrets of the divine, the hidden essence of the divine. To revere and honor the hidden essence of the divine. And to reveal his covenant. To reveal by the way we live those teachings and that sacred relationship between the divine and us. What if that's our job description? The secrets of the Lord to revere and his covenant to reveal. That's literally the words that are there. So I think that's an interesting, I've not heard anybody present it that way, probably because there's some grammatical reason in Hebrew that won't work, but that's the words that are there. And I find that an interesting kind of set of instructions, if you will, of how we're to live, which I think is a pretty good summary, at least of how I understand I would like to live. So moving on, just a couple more. So this is from Deuteronomy, not Psalms, Deuteronomy 29:29. The secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the revealed things belong to us and to our children forever, so that we may follow all the words of his teaching. So the secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the revealed things belong to us and our children forever, so that we may follow the words of his teaching. This is a very ancient concept, and it's written about quite a bit in Kabbalistic literature. And the idea is that there is a concealed light and a revealed light. There is an original, primal, pure spiritual light, and there's a lower created reflective light. This is a very prominent teaching in Kabbalah and in Judaism, and in other cultures of the East, by the way. And the idea is that hidden, that unrevealed, that concealed pure spiritual essence that we at this level don't fully experience in the body. It's beyond this time and space and form. It's beyond any limitation or constriction. That concealed light is the divine, is what belongs to the divine. But the revealed things, and in the Kabbalistic teachings, what the revealed things mean is, so what are the teachings? When a spiritual teacher, when a prophet, when a messiah, when an avatar, we have different names for these beings that bring forth this understanding. When one of these great ones comes forward and reveals a teaching, reveals the Torah, for example, through Moses, reveals the teachings that came through Jesus, reveals the teachings from some of the great teachers in Eastern traditions, that those revealed things, those revealed teachings about this is how life works, this is how the universe works, this is how your body works, this is how time-space works, this is how relationship works, this is how meditation works. All these teachings, this is how forgiveness works. When those come forward, those are the things for us. And that we are not only to take them for ourselves, we're to transmit those to our children and keep that lineage going. And that by doing so, we can live in accordance with those teachings. But we can't live in accordance with teachings we've never heard. Or we can't, for that matter, live in accordance with teachings we've heard but don't understand. That we may need help understanding them. So I think this is a very central theme in Jewish mystical literature and in much mystical literature from other traditions as well. And then there's a piece of this that's reflected in Job, the book of Job 11. If you haven't read Job, it's I find it a very disturbing book about this guy who does everything right, loves God, follows all the precepts, lives a holy life, is honest in his business, kind to people, good to his family, all the things you'd want somebody to be, loves God, has disaster after disaster after disaster befall him, and he struggles with why. And so, anybody ever had that kind of experience in your life? So, but we're not discussing Job as a book tonight, but in the book of Job, there's a passage, it's the 11th verse. I'm sorry, it's the 11th chapter. 11th chapter is the 7th and 8th verses. Job 11, 7 and 8. And it says, "Who are you? Can you discover the depths of God? Can you discover the limits to the Almighty?" Just what I was talking about a moment ago. "They are higher than the highest heavens. What can you do? They are deeper than Sheol. What can you know?" Sheol was without getting too far into this, just a bit of a background. Sheol was what Jews in the early part of Judaism and up through about the time of Jesus, Sheol was considered the place that all the dead went to after they died. The souls of all the dead, good, bad, horrible, great, holy, unholy, all the souls of the dead went to Sheol. It was kind of a holding pot. And there things were sorted out. And the souls of the righteous went to rewards in higher heavens and higher regions or higher forms of life. And the evil endured some kind of punishment or purification process. The punishment purification process was called Gehenna, and the reward in the higher life process was called heaven, or the kingdom of heavens, or the kingdoms of heaven. So that's what these words refer to. But it's basically saying that this boundlessness of God is beyond the mind's ability to comprehend, and that it's certainly beyond our control, and that when we think we're all this big stuff, sometimes we're reminded of the face of God over everything, and that we're not as, in the way we think of ourselves as being big, we're actually real small. In the thing that we think is real small in us, the divine, that's actually what's really big. And then the last one is actually from the New Testament. This is a quote from Jesus, and it's from Matthew 6:6. And it says, "When you pray, go into your inner room," which most Christian mystics think of as this, again, this holy place inside where the divine and the human consciousness connect. Go to your inner room, close the door. Mystics interpret that as shut off the input from the outer senses, and pray to your Father who is in secret. Your Father who is in secret, or it might be translated your Father who is hidden. And your Father who sees what is done in secret, or who sees the hidden things that are done, will reward you. So there's a concept here in Jesus' teachings also that there's this undisclosed aspect of our lives, not just in the sense of secrets we'd like to keep from people, but the things that are not yet revealed in us, perhaps to our own awareness, or through our demonstration to others, to the awareness of others, but that what we call God is present even in those deepest, hidden, most secret places, and knows what's going on there, and relates to us in those deepest places in our being. So that's just a few of the examples, but there is clearly a teaching in both the Jewish Bible and in the New Testament portion that there is a kind of a hidden essence, and that many of the mystical teachings are describing that and how to connect to that, how to awaken to that. And then there's a more of a of a light of the world, or an outer understanding, an outer spirituality that's also important, but that doesn't reach into the deep core of us. And that to reach the deep core of us, we have to have some kind of transcendent awareness, or a way of living that opens us to a greater expansion and transcendent awareness, to even begin to experience the reality of such things. So, alrighty. So we'll stop there and go into some meditation time together. So I would invite you to just be still and comfortable, and bring your attention to that essence of who you are, to that deepest inner core of your being, which I usually refer to as the soul. And at that place, just begin to feel yourself kind of almost as if you're like sinking into a deeper level, or perhaps the sensation would be rising to a higher level. But penetrating all those outer layers to the point of origin very deep inside, and of a much, much higher vibration. So if we experience it more spatially, it's going to feel like a deepening and going deeper in. If we experience it vibrationally, it's going to feel like a rising into higher vibrations. The same thing is happening. It's just the frame of reference. And in this deeper, higher place, we can kind of begin to feel a falling away, perhaps, of the stresses of the world, of the noises of the world. Or perhaps it's almost like a dampening of the sound and light and vibration from the lower realms, where we become into this more sheltered, secret place where they cannot penetrate. Where we are at rest and held in love, where we can be at peace. And if there are any troubling images, thoughts, or feelings that arise, instead of wondering why or battling them, simply move deeper where they cannot go. And in this deep center resides the pure spiritual essence. And partaking of that essence is what Jesus called the living waters. The place where the storm is calmed and we are untroubled. So let us just be in that place with God and know that we are all in that same sacred space, wherever we are. Because it is not a space in physical time. It is an energetic space where the Spirit radiates in us. So let's just slowly begin to bring our attention back once more. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Probably a number of you are familiar with that, maybe not all of you. It's a song called Return Again. It was written by Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach, who is now deceased, God rest him, and his daughter Neshama Carlebach is carrying on his musical tradition and writing and creating a lot of her own new music. Anyway, she's a friend of ours, and I actually have permission to use that song from her, which is really nice. So um, anyway, it just seemed fitting tonight. So it's there are more verses and more choruses, but in the interest of time, that was just one verse and one chorus. It's a beautiful song. Neshama, Neshama, Carlebach, Carlebach. Wonderful singer, Jewish music, and it has now expanded into some more universal music. You get a chance to listen to her, watch her on YouTube, or get her albums or whatever. Anyway, I really enjoy her music. You might too. So thank you for joining us tonight, and I hope that you all have a wonderful, blessed week. For those in the Fort Wayne area, some of you are going to be joining with us tomorrow at one of our one-by-one gatherings and potlucks, so we're looking forward to that. I'm not speaking at Unity this Sunday, but I'm sure they would always welcome your presence there if you feel inclined to participate in their 10:30 in the morning service. And so You know, many of us are very blessed, no matter what we struggle with. Much of the world is in a very severe state. So, anytime you feel inclined to send blessings to those who need it, wherever they may be, to um, include them in your prayers, however that works inside of you, we're all connected. So, um, in the end, what uplifts one uplifts another, and what hurts one hurts everyone. So, um, be gracious in your prayers and thoughts and blessings. And thank you for blessing me with your with your presence here tonight. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week, and that I see some of you, many of you tomorrow, and that I see the rest of you hopefully next Friday at the very least. So thank you all. Tonight I actually did record. Some asked about last week because a few of you liked it and wanted copies of it. Sadly, there was a what I call a technical glitch. Really, it wasn't. The program was just fine. My brain glitched. I just totally forgot to hit the record button. So my apologies. But this one should have recorded. So uh, anyway, we'll see. But hopefully it works. I did hit it tonight, so we should be good. All right. Love you all. Gonna end everything for now. See you soon.